Aloha Ohana. Welcome to day 79 of the 100 Lives in 100 Days challenge. Yesterday, we continued our journey through my book, Walking in Aloha 5 Steps to Living Your God Potential Life, with chapter 2, Miracle Working God. That chapter reminded us that God can turn what was meant for evil into good. He did it for me, and I believe that he can do it for you also. So, hold on. What my nose? Oh, anyway. I know allergies, right? Allergies. So, today we are moving into the heart of the book, which is Walking in Aloha. That section, titled Walking in Aloha, is where I share how God revealed the A.L.O.H.A framework to me. Aloha, you know, means so many things, right? But when God revealed that to me, the Aloha framework, it was not as just a word, not just the word aloha, not just as something that we say in Hawaii, but as a way of healing, a way of growing, a way of remembering who we are and whose we are, a way of living the God potential life that He created us to live. So rather than just talk about the chapter or the section, I'd like to read it with you. So, like I said yesterday, grab your favorite beverage, get comfortable, and let's talk story. Walking in aloha. Aloha is a word used to say both hello and goodbye. We all know that, right? In Hawaiian. But it means more than that. Aloha is a way of life. Being born and raised island girl, being a born and raised island girl, I was taught aloha from the time I was very young. Aloha and living pono is how we were raised. You and your actions were an extension of your family. What you picked up as a child, what your parents grew up with, and the environment around you all became a part of you. My life wasn't perfect by any means. There were things that we just picked up, caught, to put it simply. But like my dad used to say, there's always a choice, and every choice has a consequence. Good and bad choices have consequences, and sometimes we must be taught to undo what we caught. My father was a well known kung fu instructor on the island. We were held to a higher standard because we were a reflection of him and our family name. We were taught honor and respect, respect for yourself, your family, your elders, and everything around you. The motto was land where you live, life, how you lived, and lokahi or unity, living with and for your ohana. Lessons came back, lessons came hard back then, but we learned. I learned. But what was happening now is not what I learned. As I went through all of my trials and successes, I never put my struggles into these terms. At first, I never knew how to put my story into words. Through a dream, God showed me that everything He helped me learn and grow literally spelled out aloha. He breathed that idea of He breathed the idea of this book into me. It was time for me to share my story so that others could live the lives He intended them to have and not be hindered by their past. What took me years and years to learn and walk through, I have now put into the words of this book. So You'll hear it in my speeches, and I don't mention it in the book, but I remember praying to God and, praying right before I went to sleep and, the dream that came out of it, literally hearing God say, I gave you everything in aloha. So I think the reason why I left that part out in the book is because it's harder to explain um, when it comes to you in that way than speaking it out. And so I thought it was going to be like way too long to explain that this is how it went. But yes, I remember sitting back and praying to God and saying, Lord, if you need me to write this book, then you need to help me because I never wrote a book before. And everything that I was writing down just seemed like a rehash of all the bad things that I went through. I didn't want that. And so when I asked God to help me, He said, I gave you everything in aloha. And as I was writing it out and figuring out, like, what did He walk me through? I came up, or He gave me. I don't believe that I just came up with this by myself. The affirmations and actions, leadership and love, overcoming obstacles, health and healing, and acute awareness, which spells out aloha. So that is how the whole of it, not just the book or not just the speaking, the whole of it is that I prayed and asked God to help me, and He revealed this to me. The traditional honi honi is a Polynesian greeting that involves pressing foreheads and noses together, alo, and breathing in each other's life essence, ha, the breath. Alo means being in the presence of another. Ha is a breath of life. Jesus is my Ha. So aloha. I invite you to come close and like a breath, breathe in the sweet essence of what was once given to me, and now I share it with you. Aloha. I pray that you too will see how aloha will bring unity within you so that you can breathe again and live the God potential life He created you to have. Living your God potential life is not saying that you are godlike or that walking in aloha will make you godlike. We live in His reflection. We are His reflection. God created you in His image. You were created with purpose, potential, and promise. And it is time that you lived out that promise. It is time to live the full life He created you to have. It's time to live your God potential life. Aloha is not just something you say, it's more than a word. It is something you feel, something you live. So that is aloha. And I wanted to share with you a song that I created for um, my podcast, Walking in Aloha, Let's Talk Story. And if you have never heard of Suno, Suno is a AI. It's using AI. You write the lyrics, you put it in, and then it makes up the music by what you choose. So let us play that one. Walking in aloha, let's talk story. Bringing balance to the nations. Hear the call. Every voice has a purpose. Every heart will. We're rising up together. Truth and love we carry. Sharing light and life. Every testimony. We walk in, there's healing here. Overcoming obstacles. It starts with from the pain to the purpose, from the test to the call. Every step you've taken, God has meant it all. God's good, every breath, to kingdom gate. Walking. Well, that's so fun. I know that there are a lot of musicians that I know, and using AI for music may not be something that they agree with because they're actual musicians, and I respect them wholeheartedly. But I am not someone that can put music to my lyrics, and through using AI, I'm finally able to do so. So that is the way that I can do that part and put music to the lyrics that I write. So thank you. Thank you all for spending this time with me. Every time I read that chapter, I'm reminded that aloha is so much deeper than a greeting. Yes, in Hawaii, like I read, that we use aloha to say hello and goodbye, but truly, aloha is more than just a word. Aloha is a way of life. It's how we honor, it's how we show love, how we show respect, and how we carry ourselves as a reflection of our ohana. So, in this chapter, as I shared, being born and raised an island girl and living Pono, we're part of how we were raised. And we all know that. We pick up things, like from our families and our heritage and our culture. We are taught that our choices matter, our actions matter. The way that we treat people truly does matter. And like I read in the book that my dad said, like there is always a choice, and every choice has a consequence. And that truth stayed with me forever. I mean, I still feel that way. But everything that I have gone through, I had to learn that sometimes we also have to undo what is caught. So, not everything passed down to us was healthy. Not everything we learned through pain was God's truth. Not every survival pattern is meant to become a lifestyle. Sometimes God has to lovingly teach us that there is a new way to live, a new way to breathe, a new way to see ourselves And yes, a new way to walk forward. And that is what I did. That is what I did because he taught me through Aloha. That's how I picked it up and how I learned it and I wrote it down. That is what he did for me through Aloha in the manuscript, in in the book. You know, I I share that through a prayer and a dream that God showed me everything that he helped me through and grow through, literally spelled out Aloha. A, affirmations and actions. L, leadership and love. O, overcoming obstacles. H, health and healing. And A, acute awareness. And it wasn't instant. It took me years before I even decided that my testimony should be written down. And it was after confirmation, because I didn't know. I didn't know how to do it. But I learned and I healed and I walked through that. God helped me to put the words into this book. And it still amazes me. I have my podcast, and you just heard the song, Walking in Aloha, Let's Talk Story. And through my podcast, I now reach people around the world. I have interviewed people from Spain to New Zealand, Australia, to Greece and Saudi Arabia, and here in the US, the Netherlands. I even had to ask my husband, where is the Netherlands? All over the world. Amazing. Amazing. Because when I was in the middle of all that pain, I didn't know, I did not know God was building a framework that it would lead me here. I didn't know that he was shaping a message. I never knew that he was preparing the tools that would one day help me, help someone else. I was just trying to survive. But God, he was doing more than helping me survive. He was teaching me how to live. And that is what walking in aloha means to me. It's not pretending that life is perfect. It's not ignoring pain. And it's not covering everything with a smile and saying, I'm fine. Walking in aloha is choosing to keep walking with God. It is choosing healing, choosing the truth, choosing love and action and awareness. It is choosing to live, live the breath of God instead of the weight of fear. One of the most beautiful parts of this chapter is the meaning of the traditional honi honi, like I said, right? Pressing the forehead and the nose together, coming close and breathing in. Uh-huh. And as I said before, Jesus is my I don't know where I'd be without him, without him walking with me through all of the stuff that I went through. Jesus is my breath of life. He is the one who helped me breathe again when trauma tried to take my breath away. He is the one who gave me purpose when pain tried to define me. Jesus is the one who helped me understand that I was created with purpose, potential, and a promise. And that is the message that I want you to receive today, that you were created with purpose, created with potential, and you were created with a promise. Walking in aloha doesn't mean that you're trying to become God, like I read, godlike, right? You're not trying to become God. It means that you're learning to live the life God created you to live, the God potential life. It means that you're allowing Him to restore what was broken, heal what was wounded, and awaken what was buried. It's time to unbury those talents that He gave you and live the life that He intended you to have. And breathe life into the places that felt dry or tired or even forgotten. You're not too late. You're not too broken or too far gone. God can still breathe life into your story, into your story. And maybe today is your invitation to come close, alo, and to breathe again, ha, to receive aloha. Because, like I said, it's not just a word, but it is a way of walking with God. So, I want to leave you with this question. What does aloha mean to you in this season of your life? And where do you need God to help you breathe again? Take a moment to think about that. Maybe you need Him to breathe life back into your faith. Maybe into your creativity. Maybe into your health or relationships. Maybe it's into your dreams. Maybe you need God to breathe into that part of you that has been tired from carrying too much for too long. And if you feel led, share in the comments. Share in the comments. Jesus helped me breathe again. Write the word aloha. Write it vertically, right? Then in each letter, write one area where you want God to help you grow. A. Affirmation and action. Where do I need God to speak His truth in me? And then take that one step forward. Then L. Leadership and love. Where do I need to lead with love? Maybe it's starting with myself. Yeah, starting with myself. Honestly, that was something that I had to do. I had to lead myself out in love. I had to know and love myself enough to say, this is enough. No more. That is what leadership and love did for me. I had to lead myself out with love. Overcoming obstacles. Oh, what obstacle am I ready to face with God's help? Health and healing. H. Where do I need healing? Is it spiritually, emotionally, mentally, or physically? Or maybe a combination of. And the last A, acute awareness. What is God asking me to become more aware of in this season? What is He asking me? Then pray this simple prayer. Lord, teach me to walk in aloha. Help me to breathe again. Help me live the God potential life that you created me to have. That you created me to live. Thank you. Thank you, Lord, for walking me through aloha. Amen. May you be reminded today that aloha is more than just a word. May you feel the breath of God bringing peace to your heart. May Jesus, your Ha, restore the places where fear, pain, or weariness tried to take your breath away. May you walk forward with purpose, potential, and promise. And may you live Kono. May you honor God, yourself, and others with the way you move through this world. And may you remember that you were created by the Creator who live, heal, grow, and bless others. So until tomorrow, day 80, keep breathing, keep healing, and keep growing, and keep walking in aloha. Until then, aloha always, and ahui ho.